Hey, it's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's July the 7th, so this will be our chart lesson for the day. And crazy big day today. We reached up in here and overshot this trend channel line again. Also got into the overbought territory, and then this thing sold off, and it sold off strong. So we finally got the sell-off that you would think we'd get, but we still really didn't. We actually went a little lower than we'd been going, but it closed back inside that range. So are we going to go lower from here? I don't know. We'll just have to see. Um, Again, just a reminder: it's Fridays. Tomorrow's Friday. No chart lessons on Friday. So, but I'm going to just flip over to the intraday chart. I need to get out of here. It's already late in the afternoon, and I've got a commitment I've got to be at here shortly. So I'm going to probably go through these. There's a lot of trades today. I'll probably go through it fast. And I apologize, but I don't have much option today, and I want to get a video out, so that's what we're going to have to do. But let's flip over there and get. Okay, here's the intraday chart. You can see it was pretty mixed until about lunchtime, and then the sell-off came, and it was just really strongly downhill. We had this real steep channel, break and new low, and then we just went into another little, somewhat flatter but wider channel and continued lower, and that was well into after 2:30. So it was a big sell-off day. Um, anyway, um, there's ISO. I don't think you really can get a bigger channel. You probably could here, but you really need this. The one thing I wanted to point out to you was this was the high from yesterday right here, and this is where we opened at 8:30. So there's a gap there if you go to the regular session daily chart. And the prices we usually try to fill that, and you see we filled that and then bounced before we went lower. So that was our target early on. That's what I put on there, and I put that on there for the midday chart, and that would have been a perfect target really. Of course, I talked about we could go higher or lower from there. You just don't know, and it turns out we went lower. I mean, I felt all along that downward was the path of least resistance, but as long as this market kept going higher, you can't argue with it. So rather than say that, I just tell you the truth. Don't argue with the market until it starts selling off. Don't worry about it. Even though we were expecting it, and you would think that it probably sell off, man, this thing just kept pushing higher and higher and higher, and you can't argue with a market like that. Timing of the turn is really hard, but it finally came today. But anyway, there it is. Really all downhill from about 9 o'clock on. The real downtrend started around lunchtime, and it was pretty strong sell-off. So there's some periods in here where you had to just sit tight, but that's the way it is, even on a good trading day. I would say this was a pretty good trading day after about 8:30 or so. But anyway, let's zoom in here. We're going to go through these trades rather quickly. Again, I apologize, but I've got to be out of here, and I don't have much time left, so it is what it is. But we had a 7:30 news item, so we really didn't get a chance to trade anything till after that news item settled down, which was fairly quickly. I don't see much in here except finally it looked like we were going to we had one leg down, so you'd expect at least a minimum leg down, but we could be turning down from here. So go ahead and put your measured move on there. We didn't quite get it, but notice you had a first entry long, second entry long, and it broke higher and failed and turned down. Normally I'd probably mark this blue because you're looking for a possible reversal over here after this is played out. And with knowing this gap's here, you'd figure prices are going to probably try to go lower. But you had a little support across here. Let me zoom in a little more. You can see we had a little support across there. And so that worries me a little bit on that one, so I made it green. It would have got a scalp fairly easily, but then it bounces and it turns down here. That's just a first entry. There's no way you can enter there. Then it's real tight, and we do go higher here, but real tight again. But notice you already tried to go higher once, twice, and then 3 times. You might even say 4 times, maybe 5 if you count over here. This is a big bearish bar. I like entering this on the engulfing bar. I can't remember. I think this broke higher and then turned down. I'm pretty sure it did. Either way, when it came back down either time to break out the low side, I like dropping either having a sell stop here or dropping a limit order in here somewhere and see if it'd back up. Of course, you'll miss a lot of these trades in that case, but after that many tries, it's probably going to go test the other side, and that's exactly what it does. So I like this. I don't know if I would enter here right into this midline, but I would probably want to enter this on the engulfing bar. There's a failed second entry long here, but doesn't set up for a good trade. Um, I don't see anything too congested. Drops on down. Then once again, we're in congestion. I just don't see anything here I like. We do get an overshoot of the yellow channel or khaki, and then a break and move to a new low. And look like we're going to go higher. But guess what? You get two legs up, and you get a second entry long, and it tests that same resistance again. It turned it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th time on a second entry with a nice bearish bar. Go short right there. Then you get a first entry long, second entry long, and there's even a second entry here. It's very complicated. But notice the new low, and then you broke lower here, and then it broke higher and turned down again. So when it came past there the second time, that's a second entry short. You need to be a little more experienced to see that, but it's there. So you could trade that. You might even. I hate to always go short at the very or long at the very end of a big bar that makes a new low on the move, and this is, you can see this is the lowest point on this whole move down. So I like, it broke higher, so I like entering on the engulfing bar when it went past to the short side. And of course it bounces, but there's another second entry here, but this is an inside bar. And then next thing you know, we're just kind of chopping along here, and it bounces. You get a break. I don't see any. You're not really looking for a reversal here. This doesn't set up really well anyway. You get a break, new high, and then you're working down. I didn't draw it, but there's a channel working down here. Get a break, new low, and then it bounces. And this thing just takes off. You don't really get a good setup to go long. And next thing you know, you get a close outside. It tries to go higher and turns down. There's a double top here, and there's really a triple test. And so bearish bar, I like that just to try to get a scalp out of it, and it may turn and go lower. You may not have got in this because it gaps over and takes off pretty quick. It does back up. Depending on where you played your limit order, it would depend on whether you could get in that trade or not. It's debatable if you could even get in it. Drops on down here, comes back, and we get a nice double top, and really you could almost call that a triple test. And this is notice the new low, first entry, you get a close outside this, new high, and a big bearish bar. So that's a second entry short. It didn't take right off. You get a lower high, but that bar's, if that'd been a bearish bar, I'd said maybe you go short again, but it looks congested there now. So I wouldn't, if you weren't already in this trade, I wouldn't enter it. Turns out to be a great trade after all. Pulls back here. It looks a little like a reversal, but this has moved way too far. So this looks like a new trend, and there's no break, or I mean, it's just straight up. So I don't think you want to go short there. It's too risky. There's just no setup there. Then it drops on down, and you get a hidden second entry short right here. Pretty good signal bar right off that confirmed trend line. There's clearly two legs back. It's hidden, but and if you don't understand that, it's a little more advanced and a little more complicated. Don't worry about it. You'll learn to see those down the road. But there's a hidden. If you went to a slightly smaller chart, you would see a leg up, a break lower, and a second leg up. That's all it means. And it's hidden because you don't see it on this chart. And generally, if you're not a really skilled trader, you need to trade exactly what you see on this chart. Don't be trying to see the bigger picture or the smaller picture. Just trade what you're seeing until you get really skilled at this. So it drops on down, keeps dropping. I don't see any setups in here that I like. Finally get a break. It tries to go lower, doesn't quite. Maybe it does make a new low, but then it turns down again. I don't see anything in there. There is a second entry short there. Notice the new low, and you get a first entry, second entry. It's slightly sideways, but there's really no congestion there because you don't have the little doji or whatever. So maybe you take that trade. I didn't mark it. If you're a skilled trader and you see that, you might take it because you figure prices on that big of a move down, prices are going to make a new low. You just don't want to be too early or too late, and that's what happens on something like this time. And it could break lower and push up one more time and then turn down. So you know, but it is a second entry, and it does have a very good signal bar, and it's not congestion, so you could take that trade. I'll mark it green. And you notice we just don't really go anywhere, and then suddenly, boom, the bottom falls out again. Again, I don't see any trades there. There is a clear first entry. Actually, it breaks second entry right there. I was thinking the second entry was here, but I didn't notice that little break higher right there. So, no, that's not a second entry. So, no, it wouldn't be a trade there anyway, so it's really irrelevant. But you get a move up, a break, move to a new high, and guess what? That is a second entry short with a very nice signal bar. Go short right there. Again, it gaps over. You may not could have got in it. Try to put a limit order in, see if it'll come back. I don't know if it would have or not, if you, depending on how you played it and how quick you were. Maybe you could get in that trade, maybe you couldn't. But if you could, try with a limit order. I know you probably couldn't with a stop because it moved too quick and gapped over there. But try it with a limit order and see if you can get in it. Again, you get 2 legs down and a second entry long there, but you don't try to go long in a downtrend like this. But there's a move up, first a break, and it tried to go higher, so technically that is a second entry short. I don't think I would wait and go long here. I think you got to take the break higher, and when it turns down, enter on the engulfing bar. I think that's the only way you can enter that trade. Continues to drop on down, nothing there. We bounce off the low side, you get a close outside, a couple legs to a new high, and it turns down. And this is a second entry, but it's kind of in no man's land. Yeah, you've had the break and the new high, but we're above the EMA. We're not back to the trend line. There's just no key entry point there. There's no double top really or triple test. So I think you just have to skip that. There is a reversal here, but look how congested it is. Just skip that. Nothing in through here. There is a second entry short right here when it breaks lower, but the signal bar is no good. And then we bounce higher this time. Notice we didn't quite get down there. Well, maybe that means we're starting to get some waning momentum. You get a first entry and a close outside this trend channel, moves up, and then you get one more little push up and it fails, and look at how that trend line's still holding. Go short right there on that second entry. You got to on that one. It's clearly 2 legs back to the key entry point. That's the one you want. Again, it gaps over and goes pretty quickly. It does it on both bars. So whether or not you could have got in that trade, again, I don't know. It depends on how good you are, how fast you got your order in, but it would have to be with a limit order almost for certain. Then you get a lower high here. I mark that one. Maybe you take that one, and then there's a reversal here. Or this is a continuation pattern, not a reversal, but a continuation pattern of a downtrend on a failed second entry. If it breaks lower here, go with it. And it does. And that takes you into 230. And I know I went through those really fast. I hate it, but I just don't have any option. I got to get this processed now and get it up. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Usually this would probably be a 30-minute chart lesson, but today it's not, and I apologize for that, but I just can't. I cannot help it today. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back. Tomorrow's a holiday, so we won't be back till Monday. I am going to take a couple of days vacation next week starting on Thursday, so I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But Thursday I'll be gone, and I'm going to take a 4-day weekend, really a 5-day, because I'm going to really probably take off most of Thursday. I may come in Thursday morning for a few minutes, but it won't be for long. I'll probably just take Thursday off. So I'll be traveling on Thursday afternoon, and I'll be back Sunday night. So I'll be back next Monday. So anyway, I hope you have a good trading day tomorrow. We will have a chart lesson in the morning, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be normal, and then I'll take my vacation Thursday and Friday. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again Monday. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.